He's honestly such a brown nose around there. The family nicknames, they call him Soulsy, because the only thing you see hanging out the bottom of everyone's bum is the soles of his feet. Do you know what I mean? So
I wonder where you were going with that, by the way.
I remember when I was on radio. It's much more difficult to tell a joke without any rude bits.
That was good. Lord, look at the unit on him. Look at him. Look at him. James Haskell is here.
Yay! Thank you.
Morning.
Thank you.
Now, let's get straight into this.
Yeah.
Okay. The Good, the Bad and the Rugby is your podcast.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the fact that he's with his mate's mum.
No. We can do that.
That was business. That was the first bit of business I needed to address.
Oh, is it?
Appalling etiquette. I've never seen it.
Well, as a former rugby player, is it appalling etiquette, or are you like, high five, fella, good work?
Certain bits to play on, but, going around there and making him call you daddy is not allowed.
Really, you're so right, Joe.
Should we get to the book?
Yes.
Sure.
Have you got a book on it as well?
Yeah, you're writing a book on
Life with Ingrid.
The book is called The Good, the Bad and the Rugby, or as James is saying it, The Good, the Captain and the Rugby Unleashed. Now,
My Mate's Mum by the Captain.
You've done the podcast for how long now?
In total, it's about 10 seasons, but we had a sort of a little hiatus because it used to be under a different guise, and then they went bust.
Oh.
Luckily not because of us, as you will discover in the book. Well, saying that, our salary demands were extensive, but we discovered that Guinness were paying this inordinate amount of money, and we didn't know anything about it. In the first season, we went up by £200, and theirs had gone up by $1 million. And, so it was quite mental. And then they sort of drove it into a wall, and then we restarted with the Good, the Bad and the Rugby.
Yeah.
And we're in the 5th season now. We've had like theatre tours, and the book was a natural progression because people want to know. People are kind of fascinated by the chemistry, just like on this show, why it kind of works and why it's got such longevity. So there's a lot of stories in there.
Well, I have a question. Why are you the only one here plugging it when there's 3 of you on the podcast?
That's a very good point.
The question is, where is old Grandpa Tyndall?
Yeah, I think he's just probably doing big time. He's out there taking taxpayers' money somewhere, on a free trip. He's kissing babies. I don't know. Alex Payne, he's actually one of the most interesting people, but nobody wants to speak to him.
No. Because he's not famous.
No, this is very true. Yes, it's very true. I think I don't know if Tins is allowed to do live shows in case he panics, or you press game in a corner and ask him some difficult questions.
Oh, really? Okay.
He's just lazy. That's what it is. He's just lazy.
He's actually, you're discovering the book, when we have sort of board meetings and bits and pieces, there's a combination where Mike tries to dial in from, say, Balmoral or wherever it is, and in the background you just hear pull, or the whack of golf clubs, and then if he's at home, there's just the screaming of children. Alex is just always in, because no one wants to speak to him. Yeah. And I dial in wherever I am, and then the signal cuts out so no one can understand what Tins has said. I have to wander off and do something else, and Alex has to steer the entire ship. So it's not great.
Slick. It sounds slick.
Yeah, it sounds really professional. Those are just the board meetings. The actual podcast recordings are awful.
It is amazing that Mike is got a family, because he's a funny-looking man, isn't he? He is a funny-looking old tired man.
An old, like an old wooden ship, an old tired man. Do you know what's more alarming?
He's definitely not here, is he?
No, good. More alarming than anything is that people genuinely think that Mike and I look the same.
Right.
to the point where I would say twice a week, 3 times a week, someone will stop me. And the other day, the lady in mid-traffic pulled up next to me and said, "Has anyone ever told you look like that former rugby player that's married to a princess?" And I just went, "No, they've never said that." She went, "Oh, okay," and just put the window up and drove off. Someone goes, "Mike, I love what's the Queen like? God rest her soul." I'm like, it's not me.
He's got no hair.
I know, mate, I know, I haven't got much. I'm actually getting my lid done this week.
Are you?
Oh, my
done?
God. Yeah,
what are you doing?
With a top knot, a ponytail, braids.
Whoa.
Get it done tomorrow.
You getting a hair did?
So, yeah, hair done.
Are you serious?
Sewn in, yeah. Gonna get AstroTurf.
Yours isn't that bad.
I know, but it's preemptive, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are they taking it from?
Corpse. No, they take it from the back of your head, take the back of your head and re-sew it into the front. Wow. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I kind of, wanted happy to get on with it. A lot of men really struggle with it and don't talk about it. And I just decided, look, I'm going to go and do it. We'll talk about it. We'll show it. How it works. The only issue...
that means you're getting it for free.
You're welcome. Oh, guilty. Oh, I hate that when someone wants to give me a full head of hair for free. Don, there's a bit too much space on that, mate.
Do you know what?
That's a 300 grand project.
I think my ship has sailed.
Yes, definitely. Or crashed, sunk. But you could come up with syrup.
Yours is all right.
No, do you know what? It's mine's thinning. I see photos of myself. Get it done.
You're right.
It's preemptive. And the thing is, my only caveat to it is I'm not a bit scared about doing it just because the chances of it going wrong. My friend had it, and he very excited. He came over to see us for a beer in front of the lads, took his hat off and went, "It's worked then." He looked like a scooped out avocado.
No.
Mate, we were in hysterics, but it's now grown back and he looks unplayable.
Oh, okay.
So I've got faith, but there's going to be a sort of a 3-4 month period where I look more hanging than usual.
Listen, my friend had it done, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I know a few people who've had it done, but it's ludicrous.
I'm about to head into this. I've torn my bicep off the bone 2 weeks ago, so my arm doesn't work. But so picking up Tyndall actually for content.
Yeah, we were talking about this morning. What happened?
So,
listen, you're strong, but you're not that strong to pick up old fat old grandpa Tyndall.
Oh, you're brave.
Oh, he's very brave. Honestly, the modern story, Tyndall, Wakefield to Windsor, Prince and Pauper tale for Netflix, I think. No, we're doing some content. I don't know why. I'm using the words filming for TikTok. I'm nearly 40. I don't know why I was doing that. Part of my soul left my body. And I had to flip him round. It's 110 kgs. The first 3 times I did it. On the 4th time, I was trying to get him all the way around, and I basically moved my hand out the way and loaded my arm straight, and he fell back into me because I was trying to flip him with one hand, and it just tore off the bone.
Right.
So I had emergency surgery 2 days later. It's going to be about 6 months. So let's be clear. I'm going to have no lid. I'm going to have one big arm, one spindly arm like spaghetti. And I'm single, and I'm definitely not be able to leave the house. I don't know. People keep saying, score. What a catch.
And this is your job.
I've got a great book out.
This is your job.
Yeah, I know.
That's the weirdest thing about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Listen, I think you're right to do, if you want to do the hair, do the hair. I think I'm doing everything next year. I'm going full Joan Rivers. Yeah. And I mean, I said this the other day, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm getting the hair done. I'm getting my eyes done. I'm getting my teeth done. Finally get the moobs done. Yeah. Get that done. And then if there's any money left, I might get this reduced. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had mine. It's still just 10. So
it's so annoying when it happens.
I tell you what's interesting about the hair thing as well, because you've got to take the medication sometimes to keep it, prolong it, and it's like finasteride. And I was last year I was taking it in advance of the operation to keep the hair in, and I started getting a lump in one of my chest.
No.
And I thought, I'm panicking now. I was like, I've got a lump. And obviously I went straight away, because that mentality of men just to bury your head in the sand. I was like, no, I went to the doctor straight away, said, listen, I've got a lump. And they went, we're pretty certain it's nothing, but you need to go and see a breast surgeon, because it could be breast cancer. And I was like, trust James Haskell to die of breast cancer. That would be my worst nightmare. So I went over there, got a scan, checked, and it was fine. The guy was like, look, it's a gynecomastia, where it's kind of, because, female estrogen basically forms. So I went in there, and they're like, look, we'll be absolutely fine. Are you taking anything? I was like, no, I'm not taking anything. And they went, are you taking finasteride? He looked at my hair. First of all, I was like, cheeky. You take finasteride? I was like, yeah. And he went, that'll be it. And I went, so let's get this straight.
Oh.
If I keep taking it, I'm going to have long hair but a pair of boobs.
Yeah.
Please explain the downside. He didn't find it funny, and then told me to stop taking it. So I've stopped taking it. Because you've got to balance it out. So there's other stuff you can take. Yeah, it's a bit of a minefield, but it can be done.
So how long for the hair?
I think he said 10 hours on one day, and then maybe longer the next day. But I can't be sure that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's what he said to me originally, but I'm hoping it's not.
And then what do you do afterwards? It's like baseball cap, is it, for a month?
You can't touch it. That's the weird thing about it. It's like seeding a lawn. I've done a lot of that, but you can't. The seeds are the hair follicles are quite gently put in, so you can't cover it at least for 2 weeks. You can't sweat.
So you can't shower? Well, not in your head.
Yeah, you can't do that. It's got to be really, really delicate. I mean, again, I'm going to get more. I'm talking as if I'm an expert. I mean, I panically called the guy last week going, I know nothing about anything. So we're going to find out later today.
Fascinating.
It's great. Yeah, I think it's brilliant. When my mate got it done, they had to all but shave his head right at the start of the process and everything. He looked really cool. And he's like, so you know what? I actually really like this. Yeah. He goes, and I've only done this so I can get the hair. Yeah. Actually, if I'd known I'd look this good, I'd just get this.
Do you know what? That's the problem. And I think a lot of times women actually don't care. Men care more than men, which is really astonishing about it. And the second thing is that actually a lot of guys look good with shaved heads. I'm just not sure. I've got the size of a cow. I've got a massive cow head. I don't think it's going to look great.
I've got an egghead. I think I've got a bit of an egg-shaped head. Yeah, I see it sometimes, and I'm like, really? No.
But I hope the book goes well, because if it doesn't, I will definitely be unemployable.
See what he did? He brought it back to the book. What a pro. What a pro he is. So the book is The Good, the Bad and the Rugby Unleashed. It is lots of stories about these, let's be honest, two idiots. and Alex.
It's a great story because we actually went to interview the royal family at the Windsor Castle, which was incredible.
Wow.
Which you very rarely get to go in there. Princess of Wales, the Princess Royal. And Tim's obviously swung it because he's got family connections, as we know. And
who does he know?
He's got big people in big places. And they actually let us in, and that was amazing. I've got to say, I was very disappointed when I walked in because I imagined that going into a castle, there'll be a sea of cakes and trays, like Henry VIII.
Completely.
So it was like an 8-bird feast.
Yeah, leg of lamb.
Yeah, leg of lamb, and elephants just carved up.
Yeah.
Just food as far as the eye can see. There wasn't anything. And it took them at least half an hour to offer me a drink. And when it came, but they said tea or coffee, and I went with tea, because if you're going to drink tea anywhere, it'd be in a castle because the whole empire was built on it.
Nice.
And I went with tea. And then again, there was no biscuits accompaniment. I thought this we'd have macaroons.
No biscuits at all.
I found a little bell. Joke there. I found a little bell. I rang it, and and a woman sort of propelled out of the sideboard, landed in full uniform. You rang. I said, "Hi." She goes, "I'm Polly. I work for the household service." And I said, "Yeah, brilliant. Could I get some biscuits, please?" "Oh, my pleasure, sir." And I thought, again, at least a crescent of biscuits,
yes.
M&S minimum.
Yes.
There was 2 broken rich teas and half a bitten hobnob. No. And you could see it was from a family circle Christmas thing. So all those people who complain about royal family living in decadence, nothing.
So what you say, they should shut the whole thing down? That's the headline.
No,
James Haskell says, get rid of the royal family. They have the crappiest
Their biscuit
biscuits.
game is awful. Yeah.
See, you'd think a bit of tea or coffee. I'd be like that. I'm not being funny. A bit of rosé champagne.
Yeah, but that's what I thought. And then
let's have a booze.
And then I tried to eat, and I brought my own packed lunch. Well, I had someone standing by with a packed lunch because we're big time. But and I was eating a sandwich, and I've never seen people move that quickly to get me away from the Chinese rug and the Louis XVI cabinet that I was munching over, spilling crisps.
Remind me again where you are. Where is this again?
This is Windsor
Castle, and you brought a packed lunch.
Yeah.
Was it in an A-team lunchbox? Was it? What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, you have to, because they didn't give us anything.
Yeah, but you didn't know you were not going to get anything. So why did you bring a pack? Was it in tin foil?
Well, I'd be honest with you.
Cut the sandwiches at triangles.
We sent someone out to do it because once we knew it was a dry old ship in there, and the mice were starving. The mice were looking at us to eat. And we had to send someone out, and they nipped out to M&S in Windsor and came back.
Yeah, but can't send a go like, actually, no, I'll just pop down the kitchen. I know where the biscuits are hidden.
He's honestly such a brown nose around there. The family nicknames, they call him Solsy because the only thing you see hanging out the bottom of everyone's bum is the soles of his feet. Do you know what I mean? So
I wonder where you were going with that, by the way.
I remember when I was on radio. It's much more difficult to tell a joke without any rude bits.
That was good editing. Good editing, James.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Do you know, when we did that jungle show, we were in there. There was little Owen Warner from Hollyoaks at the time, and he was fascinated by the whole Mike Tyndall thing, and he didn't really fully understand that. But his questions were brilliant because some of his questions were just so dopey, but some of them were like, that's a cracking question, to be fair. And he's like, so have you been to Buckingham Palace? And he's like, yeah. Have you ever stayed there? Yeah. He's like, yeah. So what, like, and no one else is saying a word because they're like, go on. So like, what? Just get up in the morning, what, in your pyjamas, you go downstairs and make a cup of tea?
Yeah. And
he goes, yeah. All right.
All right. I'll tell you what's interesting about the dynamic as well between the three of us is because obviously Mike's got that, he was an amazing rugby player. I mean, he went to Australia 2003, came back with a Princess and a World Cup winners medal. I mean, if Carlsberg did holidays, that would be, I know other beers are available, but the joke doesn't work. But he's amazing. But the only thing with it is when he's had a couple of sherbets, he gets a little bit, he becomes honest and he adopts his other sort of persona, his annoyingly honest Mike. So we've got Alex Payne, who's amazing. He's the real sort of drive. In fact, an incredible presenter, brilliant, and without him, the whole thing would fall apart. He steers the ship, but he's a massive catastrophizer, and we call him Nanny. Everything's like, we're not going to get paid for this if you carry on. We haven't been right, and they call me the liability. So we were at lunch, we're at dinner once, and Tins had his usual warm up, which was 3 bottles of rosé, and he
takes the edge off.
Yeah, and Alex started going, oh well, listen, I just really worried about this the boat trip. The people who haven't been paid, and I'm worried that we're not going to get paid. And I was looking at the menu and I just heard this bang, and Tins has put a steak knife to the top of the table. And I jumped out of my seat, and he turns to Alex, goes, you're just so negative. That's your problem, right? And Alex is like, oh, what should we like CP3? Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Is that right? It was so awkward. I was talking about the curtains. I was like, God, how much curtains they have on a boat like this? We're on a big cruise ship. Anyway, Tins goes, he goes, that's the problem with you, so negative. And he goes, as for you. And he looked at me, and I couldn't work out because his eyes were revolving in his head. He had his mortgage eyes on. He had one fixed and one variable. I thought the waiter had done something wrong 3 tables away. Anyway, he turns out he's a massive liability. Alex got really flustered, ended up leaving the table. Tins, in his sort of mind, decided that to fix this, he would spear tackle him from behind to make them friends again. And unfortunately, it went badly wrong. But we moved on very quickly the next day. Very quickly the next day. But it was more stories like that in the book.
Oh, my
with more
God.
detail.
Wow.
If you fancy reading the stories that they were legally allowed to put into the book,
Yeah, that's true.
then you can go and get it. It's The Good, the Bad, and the Rugby Unleashed. Please do get it. Just get it for this lovely man who actually gets up to promote. Unlike fat old grandpa, angry Tyndall.
Another word each time.
Yeah.
I don't have many stories about Mike because we've not really hung out that many times. But I do have some great stories, but I can't tell them on the radio.
No. Just let James do that bit.
Yeah, they are great. And also, I tell you what, with those guys, well, it's kind of the perfect balance. And I think the reason the podcast went so successfully was because it was kind of that different chemistry. And actually, the fact that me and Mike, throughout the podcast journey, Mike's had another child that was born on the bathroom floor.
Right.
I got retired. I retired, ended my kind of career. I got separated in my career. Halfway through separation, we're doing a live theatre tour where every woman that I've ever spoken to, I'm getting photographed with, and they're putting in the papers, including Alex's sister. I wasn't actually with Alex's sister.
Captain wants to high five.
Yeah. I've got Alex's mum's number if you want. That's more your specialty, isn't it? If they might need a walk-in bath in a couple of years, you're the man.
This is great stuff.
Yeah. Lovely stuff.
Are you... how's the DJing?
Yeah, good. Do you know what? I was actually at DJed Egg Friday night. That was wicked for Bob Sinclair was playing.
Oh, nice.
I've got some music. I've had music coming out every month this year. I've got my biggest track to date's coming out next month with Mark Knight and Gene Ferris.
Lovely.
If you'd said when I retired I was going to have a track with those two legends, I would have laughed in your face. And we've signed 4 or 5 records for next year, so I'm very excited to see how it goes. I'm still, a lot of people don't know I DJ, still that little bit of that stigma. But actually, the opportunity that I've had, I'm in open for Carl Cox on Brighton Beach this summer. Wow. And the lineup was Carl Cox, Nick Fanciulli, Alan Fitzpatrick, the Blessed Madonna, Josh Wink, Kerry Chandler, and me on the beach. And again, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And it was just an amazing sort of set, turning up, watching people come down there and play. It's the best replacement for playing rugby. I think the podcast kind of anchors you a bit in the sport, but even though we don't really talk about it, we talk about sort of issues and personality, and the music kind of drives that bit of adrenaline and chat,
It's great fun, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's the best thing.
I love it.
It's the best thing.
I love it. I love DJing.
If I could do, apart from coming on this show, if all I could do, I would do that, DJing, all the time. Just because, you got, as a rugby player, you had travel, you had the jeopardy of preparing performance, you obviously had to go out there, the technology, the kind of a nerdy part, all of that fulfills what I was missing before. The only thing with it is it's late nights and stuff like that, but you can make that up.
Yeah. It's so great. And do you know what I love? The videos on YouTube of him DJing, doing the defective stuff. What's that called? What was the thing called?
Backroom radio?
Yeah. And it's that lovely thing where he's playing a track, and he'll play 5 minutes of it before he mixes into the other track, and so he does that thing where he's like, I'll just twiddle and stomp a little bit. Yeah. Twiddle and knob a little bit. And then, but you can watch, because this is what DJs do. I'm watching them zooming in. I'm like, he's mixing that live,
Yeah.
And then I listen to it and I go, oh, he's definitely mixing that live. I always feel so stupid. Every time I do it, not every time, but a lot of the times I do a set, I'll just stop the song midway through and go, just by the way, I'm not miming, and I hit play again, because so many people.
There is a stigma with it. I don't like.
There is,
like with any art form, like whether it's music, art, or whatever it is. There's always something like that. People always talk about the vinyl DJs. It's like, why would I carry 50 records around and break my back when I can have 1,000 on a USB stick? You can still mix them, you can still perform it. Actually, if you look at it now, DJs have gone from being in the corner to much more performance artists, and the reason I love doing it is because you're on a journey with other like-minded people. You want to create that reaction and that feedback,
It's just a cool thing to do. It's great.
It's a very cool thing to do. Absolutely.
And there was I won't tell that story. Anyway, listen.
Fair.
Do you know what? Max was doing Silverstone. There's the guy that look after DJ, and they said, are you all right? Because we got the screens and the cameras and everything. Are you all right if we film like over your shoulder or something? I'll come close up. And he's like, yeah, I'm totally fine with that. And they went, oh, great. And he goes, Why wouldn't I be in there? Because a lot of DJs go, oh, no.
Yeah.
Don't film me pressing the buttons. Because they're not pressing buttons.
Oh.
And that's it.
That's bad.
But not old James Haskell. He's in there. Right, the book. Everybody get the book. And then when you get it, just scribble out fat old grandpa, lazy Tyndall's face there.
Do you see the quote, by the way, at the front of it, which is my favourite of all time? So Owen Farrell, one of the greatest players we've ever had, a man dedicated to his sport, professional, just... honestly, no nonsense. His quote is, I want absolutely nothing to do with his book.
It's lovely.
And you put it right on the front, right in his there.
Searing honesty.
Lovely to see you, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
All the best. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Haskell, write his book.
Radio X.